Hello Rambler fans, welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Locker. I'm Dylan Conover.
And I'm Emily Morgenstern. The men's and women's track and field teams had a successful outing at the Illinois Redbird Invitational. The men's volleyball team squared off against Lewis in the conference semifinals, and women's golf fell short at the Missouri Valley Conference Championships.
All this and more on the Rambler Sports Locker.
Loyola Phoenix sports editors and Rambler Sports Locker's own Nader Issa and Madeline Kenny broke the news of Sheryl Swoopes' allegations last week. Kenny told us there are important reasons why the Phoenix wants to continue following the story.
So many players felt that their voice was trapped and that they had nowhere to go through, so I'm glad they finally have an outlet where they feel comfortable sharing their story, even if it is anonymous.
Kenny also explains what they hope to accomplish in their investigation.
I think our first goal was to kind of bring awareness to this issue, and since Loyola launched the investigation, now I think we're just putting more pressure on the athletic department to actually do something.
Continues to investigate the Swoopes allegations. They are working hard to get in touch with current and former players, as well as former athletic department officials and human resources.
The track and field teams traveled down to Normal, Illinois last weekend for the Redbird Invitational.
There were numerous top finishes for the Ramblers. LaRon Norton took first place in the 400-meter dash for the men, and Sydney Stunkel, Emma Hatch, and Lindsay Brewis took first, second, and fifth place in the 5,000-meter. Kira Washpun took first place in the long jump, leaping a personal best of 5.86 meters, making her the second best in Loyola history. The team travels down to Champaign, Illinois for the Illinois Twilight on Saturday the 23rd. Now we'll send it over to Amanda Lister for this week's number on By the Numbers.
Hey Rambler fans, my name is Amanda Lister and this week's number is 11. Since spring has officially sprung, we'll start off with baseball. The White Sox retired number 11 shortstop Luis Aparicio on August 14, 1985. However, the former White Sox Omar Vizquel was awarded number 11 by Aparicio himself when he joined the White Sox in 2010 in order to preserve the name of the talented Venezuelan shortstop. The White Sox have retired a total of 11 jersey numbers. March 11, 1963, Loyola men's basketball won the only NCAA championship to date. And on July 11, 2013, Loyola men's basketball was at the White House to commemorate their victory. The Ramblers won by 69 points in their opening round game, which is a March Madness tournament record that stands to this day. Next week is the NFL Draft happening right here in Chicago, and our beloved Bears have the number 11 draft pick. The Bears have a history with the number 11 pick, as their current quarterback Jay Cutler was also drafted at that spot. Dennis Rodman has an NBA record of 11 offensive rebounds in a postseason game. He actually achieved that feat twice in their 1996 playoff matchup against the Seattle Supersonics. Rodman was also suspended for 11 games in 1997 without pay after kicking a cameraman. That's all for this week's By the Numbers. I'm Amanda Lister. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Amanda. After a promising start, the women's golf team fell a couple spots to finish 6th at the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Despite having the advantage of hosting the tournament, the Ramblers were unable to secure a title. A promising 4th-place finish on the first day saw the Ramblers fall to 5th on the second day and finally to 6th on the third. The team didn't close the season on the high note it had hoped for, but it will be returning 7 of its 9 players, and they will no doubt be more prepared for a stronger season next year.
The men's volleyball team had a heartbreaking loss against Lewis University in the conference semifinals. The Ramblers, who beat the Flyers in last year's national championship game, lost in 4 sets on Wednesday night at home in Gentile Arena. Lewis took the first 2 sets, but Loyola came back to win the third 25-20. The two teams battled it out in the beginning of the 4th set, but a 4-point run put the Flyers ahead for good. With the loss, the Ramblers' quest for a three-peat came to an end, and they finished the season with a 20-8 record. The Flyers move on to play the Ohio State Buckeyes in the MIVA Conference Championship.
I think they were just trying to be charitable. I mean, you can't win them all. You got to let Lewis have a couple after so many heartbreaking defeats. Just my opinion.
That is. And now we'll send it over to Bridget Murphy and our analyst for this week's Ramble.
I'm Bridget Murphy, and welcome to this week's Ramble. This week's Ramble is brought to you by advertising. I'm here with Joe Flaherty and Mike Nitch, and we're talking about the NBA putting logos on their jerseys for the 2017-2018 season. I see a lot of people are up in arms about it being distracting, it taking away from the integrity of the clothing that the players wear. I don't see why this is such a big problem. Joe?
Well, Bridget, I'd want to start by just saying I've been waiting to get some Ramble redemption for about 2 years now, so looking for revenge all summer 16. Let's just get that out of the way here. But let's start by talking about the profit margins here, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. They're intending to increase their profit margins. And
But is that a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing.
Based on
Let's
this,
be honest, it's not a bad thing.
Based on this alone, okay, let's look at the numbers though. The NBA last year alone made over $5 billion in revenue.
Okay.
The projected increase in revenue from these jersey patches is just going to be $150 million. So you're opening up a Pandora's box in terms of corporate sponsorships, advertisements that may conflict with certain players' current endorsements for a comparative drop in the bucket. Look, the NBA has doubled their revenue in the last 15 seasons alone. So if it ain't broke, what are you trying to fix? I don't understand.
I don't think they're trying to fix anything. I just think that they're trying to progress and make everything better. What's wrong with that? Look, they've been screwing around with the jerseys. They put sleeves on the jerseys. Are you kidding me?
I wasn't in favor of that either.
And I'm not either. But these patches right here, 2.5 by 2.5 inches. Come on, really? Is that really a big issue?
But that's a starting point. Do you really expect it to stop there?
But what's so wrong about having it stop there? Like, why not go the soccer way? You know, it's about this size.
Fun fact about soccer, the team Ronaldo's on, I don't follow the EPL very closely.
He's not in that league either.
Whatever. He was on a team, and it had the name of an airline on his jersey, and I thought he played for the airline. Okay. So if you have like a 10-year-old kid who doesn't know the first thing about basketball out here looking at the Sony 76ers, and he's like, oh, my favorite player plays for the Sony team. What?
You know,
like,
that's his fault for not being a fan. That's the point.
So I think it all just comes back to education, is what you're saying.
Well, also you have to consider that it's basically a running joke in all of the sports that it currently does exist in. You look at the WNBA, you look at NASCAR, it's like a little unspoken about thing where you have the sponsorships, and that's just like a point of not pride, it's like a joke almost that you have like the Viagra car out there running the race. Like,
I don't see it as a joke. I see it as a way to increase profit margins. You know, that'll probably bring down ticket prices for the average fan who wants to go and watch an NBA game, who may not be able to most of the time.
So Joe's saying that it's a joke, but Mike, if you were a player, would you feel comfortable sporting the advertisements?
Well, I don't know. They did it in the All-Star game. They had Kia right up here, this size. Why not? It's not like it's going to affect their play.
But do you think it stops there?
Sleeves on. I don't think it's going to stop there, but this is only a 3-year trial that the owners agreed on right now. So 3 years, they're going to do 2.5-inch patches. What's the big deal? I don't get it. Come on.
Here's a hypothetical for you. All right, Adidas goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Right.
Hey guys, we want to sponsor you. LeBron James.
It's not going to work because Nike's the people who are going to make the jerseys.
Okay, or any big corporation that might have a conflict with one of the superstars in the league, and morally they may, or professionally they may disagree with that sponsorship. Now all of a sudden you have superstars and your front office going at odds for reasons that you completely brought upon yourself.
Right.
Like, why open that avenue?
That can be an issue. I just think that having the clubs make the decision, that's one of the most important choices here. So I think that if it's something where the front office is making the decision based on their players' preferences, that's perfectly fine. And I think that any smart front office is going to do that, and they're going to choose a morally upright company. They're not going to put, Camel cigarettes on the front of their jersey.
Okay, we got to wrap it up now. So, final line: jersey or advertising jerseys? Yes, no.
I say no. And I was going to bring B-roll, but I have something a little bit better than B-roll for you. This is what a real basketball jersey.
Wow.
If I could get this. This is the jersey, this Jordan jersey, the one you see here with no advertisements on it, the one on all the Jumpman posters. And if I'm a kid in the United States with a Jordan poster on my wall, and brought to you by the Home Depot right down there, that's not what I want to be looking at when I wake up. I want to see basketball if I'm buying basketball pictures.
Let's look at this, though. This right here.
It's the logo.
This right here. That's an advertisement, The NBA is a company that wants to make money, and they're going to do it, and you're not going to stop them.
They already have a lot.
Okay, well, this is a tough one, but I'm going to have to go with Joe.
Oh, come on.
Because I'm a fan of the classics. I think it's gaudy, and when it comes down to it, jerseys are about fashion. That's not fashionable. Back to you guys at the desk.
Following the NBA's example, we have some new sponsors.
Yeah, they didn't really say they would pay me by doing the Sports Locker, so I had to reach out, and I see you're benefiting from that. But all jokes aside, we at the Rambler Sports Locker would like to take this time to share with you all an opportunity to assist the people of Ecuador affected by recent earthquakes. Ecuadorian students here at Loyola have teamed up with the International Medical Corps and set up a GoFundMe page titled LUC for Ecuador, where they have a goal of raising $10,000. Hundreds of Ecuadorian people have lost their lives and loved ones, and any and all donations to assist in the relief initiatives will go a long way. It's certainly a moment to be thankful for our own safety.
And that's all the time we have for today. Want to get involved? Follow and like our social media and join the conversation. Thanks for watching. I'm Emily Morgenstern.
And I'm Dylan Conover. Tune into next week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker for an up-to-date look at Loyola sports and beyond.
And as always, don't forget to turn out the lights.